Okay, folks, I've got 1:30. Let's go ahead and get started today. Hope everybody's faring as well as you can during the difficulties we're going through, but we are going to try to soldier on here as best we can. Hope everybody's able to do their best here. So we did the reading assignment on Cain and through the moral maze. That essay is about moral relativism and the search for moral absolutes primarily. Does anybody have any questions about that article before the quiz before we jump into the study activity for today? Anybody have questions about Cain's essay? And if you're out there in Zoom land, if you have a question about Cain's essay, you can post it here in the discussion forum, and I'll keep an eye on that as well. So we can post there. Anybody does have a question? If nobody does, we can jump into this assignment. So we've looked at the Socratic idea, the Socratic dialogue, right? Which is the back and forth about reason giving, right? We've now read an essay where there is a kind of back and forth between Cain and the relativist position that he's engaged in there. And now what we're going to do is look at a little practice paper activity. I say paper really goes in quote marks here because it's just 4 sentences. All right. We're going to write a little 4-sentence essay on on moral relativism and Cain's position. All right. So here's the basic idea of a 4-sentence paper, and I'll just go back to the study tips section where I posted this paper. Go all the way back up here. Give you an idea of what we're going to be doing. Let's see, study tips. So here's the abstract for this paper, right? And the abstract itself is a 4-sentence paper, all right? So think about the structure that just this abstract has. And then that abstract matches his 22-page paper. It's also structured like 4 sentences. Now, it's just those 4 sentences are paragraphs and sections of a paper, right? So take a look at his abstract here, which is formulated just like one. So they say the argumentative writing skills are best learned through writing argumentative essays. I say that while this is an excellent practice for argumentative writing, an important exercise to practice structuring such essays and build on critical thinking skills simultaneously is what I call a 4-sentence paper. The exercise has the template of they say, I say, one might object, I reply. One might object that the assignment oversimplifies argumentative writing, stifles creativity, promotes an adversarial attitude, or that students can't consider objections well anyway. I reply that simplified form of argumentative writing is fine for beginners, especially since the template is ubiquitous in philosophy, that any assignment template has room for creativity, that considering objections is consistent with good manners, and that despite some pitfalls of trying to defend a thesis and consider objections, students are capable of considering objections well with proper instruction and practice. That's just a 4-sentence paper, right? I say, they say, I reply blank because of blank. One might object, I reply, right? So now your task, you're going to probably need access to Cain's essay, so it'd be a good idea to have that ready. Let me slideshow here. So here's our study exercise, and you can do it through Moodle. It's on the Moodle page down at the bottom. So long as you earn the 75 on your at least a 75 out of your 2 attempts, you can submit it for feedback. All right. If you didn't get a 75, you need to do it in your notes and then compare what you do in your notes to what we go over next time. All right. So here's the study exercise. Construct a 4-sentence paper using ideas from Cain's article. The paper should demonstrate a mastery of the main argument and ideas from the article, and an independent capacity to construct a coherent argumentative strategy. And I'm going to get you started here. So that's that basic strategy. I've given you some other templates that are very similar to it on Moodle that you can consider using as well. So for the first sentence, they say, consider starting off with either what moral relativists say about the search for absolutes or what Paine says about the search for absolutes, right? Then the second line is a reply line that requires stating a response to the first line and a reason in support of it. So if you started off with moral relativism, then you might go to Paine afterwards or vice versa, right? The third line is an objection line. So you'll have to think about what kinds of an objection would one side develop against the previous point based on what you've read, and then do the same with a reply in line 4. Make some sense? All right, let me make